Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about the Swamp Thing. Deck number 384 here. This is kind of a weird scenario where it was back in the day. The original printing of Solkanar was in Legends. Now, that was the set that gave us legendary creatures and introduced multicolor. But the thing about it is Solkanar's weird. He's three colors, but he only cares about black, which is super kind of weird. So, that being said, he has chilled in the unused general binder for a while, and I finally figured out how I wanted to do it. It's just one of those things. The idea hits me after this card's existed for 20 something years, and I've been like, oh, okay. First off, he's got Swamp Walk. Urborg belongs in the deck. If you're building this deck, get an Urborg. I do not have one, but man, unblockable commanders, especially 5/5s for 5, win games. But the direction I wanted to go with it was, well, I want to play mono black because I want to trigger that life gain with every card I cast. But he's three colors. So let's get through our ramp package first. Or what it's with three colors, it's not so much a ramp package as it is a mana fixing. So here's what we've got. Of course, put the obelisk of Grixis in there and the chromatic lantern to, smooth out the mana. Now, Star Compass, Manalith, a couple of signets. If you'll notice, all of these produce black mana. The Dimir Signet, the Dimir Locket, and Bantu's Monument. Now, Bantu's Monument, because every single one of our creatures are black, albeit they may be black-red or black-blue, but they're all going to be black. And it kind of fits with the, play a creature, gain a life. So we're gaining a life from the Monument and a life from Solkanar, and, that's actually an awful lot of life gain. So that's why I chose to use the two border posts, because they are colored spells. They are black, and we're gonna get those off of it. So I was like, you know what? Yeah. Mono black multicolor? Is that it wouldn't be mono then, but black centered multicolor. I guess black centered Grixis is what we're talking about. So every card from here on out, well, minus these two I have in my hand, is multicolor. So we're running the Urza's filter. Now, the Urza's filter has a huge downside. That doesn't say yours on there anywhere. All multicolored spells cost 2 less. So all your opponent's multicolor spells, which is, most generals nowadays, because you don't see many single color decks at tables, well, that, aren't me. And then, of course, we have the Dragon Arch, which 5 to cast is a little steep, but then, that's pretty much the worst part. 2, and you can just drop a multicolor creature, so that's pretty neat. So let's look at our multicolored creatures, shall we? Now, Korath Knight, I have been reading wrong. I don't know what came over me yesterday or day before or whenever I built this deck, but wow. This thing's way more powerful in EDH than I thought it was. Uncommon from Shadowmoor. Yeah, Flying Wither, 3/3/5 mana, whatever. Creatures, the purpose that they printed this, I get it. It's going to deal some damage, and then, or all your Wither creatures will deal damage, and then your opponent. But the way they worded it, creatures your opponents control with counters on them can't attack or block. All those +1/+1 counter creatures, yeah, they just can't attack or block now. Wow. We are kind of all over the map here. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason here. So we're just going to start dropping them in there. We have got Lightning Reaver. Here again, it's a black creature. All of these are black creatures. Fear, haste, and it's going to each opponent. That's beautiful. We got a Blood Tyrant. We got Erexel. The Plague Queen. The Scorpion God. Una. Vila. Yes. You see the theme here. Good. Is this what they would call Grixis good stuff? Because every one of these creatures you kind of want to answer. Defiler of Souls was perfect for this deck. That was one of the crazy finds right there because, we're not going to have to sacrifice anything. Garna is going to protect us from the inevitable board wipe that's coming. Hostage Taker for a little bit of Evil Twin. Seizdak, just in case we need to, mill thing. Thief of Sanity, I really love. Mana of any type. I guess they're doing the you may pay mana of any type now instead of the play it for free. It's, nowhere near as broken. Of course, we have a Tidehollow Strix, a Sidrax's Spectre, Cemetery Puka, it's not bad. Etrata, Ashenmoor Liege. I didn't have the blue-black Liege, which really kind of made me sad because, all kinds of double pumpage and whatnot. John Finkel, because the deck's colors allow it. I need a good creature. I need some card draw. And so we're playing the master himself, Mr. Finkel. By the way, in case you didn't know, just background here. This was John Finkel's invitational card. He always loved the, what was it, Ophidian? But Ophidian, you have to choose between doing the 1 damage or drawing the card, and he wanted both. So when he won the Invitational, the prize for an Invitational was design your own Magic card. And they even put you in the art. So this was how John Finkel looked back when he actually won the Invitational. He's still an amazing player. Xantcha, Dimir Doppelganger. Now, Cryptborn Horror, I've always thought was pretty good, but now in a multiplayer format, total life lost. This kind of, obviously it makes you want to play it with stuff like Comet Storm and, jazz like that. Anithomancer. Anithomancer's neat. Especially in our non-basic land format. And then I stumbled across Bladewing the Risen. And I was like, you know what? He really needs dragons. So I've got a few dragons in here, probably not as much as I need to be. And to be honest with you, this may be the direction I end up going with it, is Grixis Dragons. Because I've got Kalagon, triggers off when a dragon attacks. I've got Silumgar, that triggers when a dragon attacks. I've got the awesomeness of Crozus. And then I've got the Vampiric Dragon, which the Vampiric Dragon, I'll be honest with you, we don't want to cast this card. We want to drop it with the gate. No, or the Arch, rather. But, it's got the vampire ability, and it has just that I don't want to call it fire breathing, but that's what it's supposed to represent. It's better than fire breathing. It's 2 mana, ping. So, and of course, Let's see. That's all my creatures, so we'll go into the walkers. We've got Ashiok, because let's face it, we're always looking for a home for Ashiok. Love the card. Exile all cards from opponent's hands and graveyard. Busted. Love it. And then, what would a multicolor dragon themed deck be without Senor Bolus here? I mean, it's too good not to play. Yeah, it's 8 mana, but I've always said if something costs you 8 mana, it should win you the game. I've got one equipment in the deck, the Mask of Riddles. Just here again, my rules for the deck were everything has to be black and everything has to be multicolor. So coming up with card draw when I have those two rules in place is kind of difficult to do. Now, Dire Undercurrents fixes some of that because every single creature you have is going to make a player discard, and roughly half your creatures are going to make you draw a card with it. So it's not great, it's not bad. Dire Undercurrents is amazing. Now it comes into play under your control, so when you do your Una thing, the Una shenanigans is where Dire Undercurrent shines. Really does. Anthem of Rakdos. Okay. It's because there's a good chance. I mean, there's a good chance we're going to be hellbent, whether we want to be or not. And hey, even if we're not, it does still get the +2, even if it doesn't do the double damage thing. Then we have Helm of the Gas Lord. Now, obviously, these are perfect for putting on Solkanar or another 3-color, but I mean, it's pretty sweet. We could put this on that Strix, make them discard and draw. And then Fist of the Demigod is pretty much the same thing. If you'll notice, I didn't do the blue-red one because, well, there's no black in it. And I love the hybrid cards. It kind of solves your mana issue on having to have a specific black or a specific red. Hybrid is just the way to go. I mean, it really, really does. So let's look at sorceries. Now, Connive and Concoct is one of our new ones. And really, both sides of this are quasi-useful. I like the fact this is a split card because I don't know that we would play either one of these on its own. But when you staple them together and you get your choice, gain control of target Bob, essentially. If you need to steal their bird of paradise, what have you. And then what is that? Rise from the Grave? With Surveil. Now we got Slave of Bolus. Here again, the hybrid's beautiful. And I love this particular kind of hybrid because it's like, oh, you're paying the black, but you can also pay either red or blue. But you're paying the black. And that's kind of the theme that we're going for here. Got another split one in Breaking and Entering. Milling 8, maybe not much, but putting a creature card from a graveyard. So anybody's. This one, of course, has the fuse mechanic, so you can, if you've got 8 mana laying around, you can do it. Diabolic Vision. I specifically am using the beatdown version. I have the Ice Age version, but this deck is lacking for white border cards, and I love me some white border. I don't know why. Back then, everybody wanted the black border, but now that we haven't had it since 9th edition, that edition was a long time ago, folks. There's something pristine and beautiful about the white border. I don't know. But this is from the beatdown. Last one standing. It's kind of closest thing to a Wrath that we're going to get, I believe. I mean, at random, Sure, destroy the rest. And then our last sorcery is, of course, Cruel Ultimatum. Now, this is a monster of a mana cost, but it needs to be. If you have ever resolved a Cruel Ultimatum, that's got to be what cheating feels like. I swear to you, it feels like. I mean, I almost feel bad when I do it because the swing is just so. I'll put it to you this way: I don't know that I've ever resolved a Cruel Ultimatum and lost. And that flavor text is insane. There is always a greater power. This was Nicol Bolas's signature spell. I mean, there's always a greater power. Oh. Okay, let's get into some instants. Of course, we're going to have Terminate and Unlicensed D to, for some spot removal. We've got Perplex as a counterspell. Yeah, there's a time and a place to play Perplex. Obviously, when they have an empty hand is not the time. But even then, you've got the transmutability, so you can go get something else if, by chance everybody at the table is hellbent. Got our Rakdos Charm. Exiling a graveyard like the guys over there at CMDR Central say, run your graveyard hate. This is pretty much all I've got for the deck, I do believe. But exiling a graveyard is good, destroying an artifact, and, or target token player loses the game. We have Grixis Charm. Bounce, removal, or Anthem for a turn. And it's not bad. And then we have Croesus's Charm. Not a lot of people play these charms. These are for some of the old ones. Bounces. What is that? Return target permanent. So that's a boomerang. Non-black creature. That's a dark vanishing. Or a shatter. That's pretty neat. And then we have Malicious Advice. Boy, the foil is coming through on that joker, isn't it? Now, this is a win con, and because obviously we're winning with our suite of giant old creatures, but creatures get blocked, and with the amount of life that we are gaining from our, hopefully every card we cast, except for our artifact ramp, pretty good. Just tap them all. Well, I mean, it's pretty good for the options that we have. Now let's look at some lands. Now, all of these are pretty much just colored lands, so we're going to plow through them pretty quick. Of course, I have an Evolving Wilds and a Terramorphic Expanse to help go and get. Now, I'm running roughly twice as many swamps as I am islands and mountains. So, Corrosive Catacombs, a bounce land, but a bounce try land. Here again, not a lot of people played with the plane shift layers. I believe, I would really love to see these reprinted. I think they have been. Weren't these printed in like a way back Commander or Dual Deck, or at least one of them was? I would love to see Land Dash Layer. That's what I want, because that's cool. I don't even know if that's still a thing. It may have been errated by now. I had never had to look it up. Of course, we have our command tower, Transguild Promenade, and Crumbling Necropolis, which is, might as well say any color land. But now we're going to, and Gateway Plaza. Of course, we have Refuge, Barrens, the Guild Gate, the Urborg Volcano, Bloodfell Caves, Dragon Skull Summit, Drowned Catacombs, Submerged Boneyard, Aqueduct, Guild Gate, Backwater, and our last one is, of course, Lava Claw Reaches, because that's why That's my luck in buying UMA packs right there. I bought a few, not a lot, just a few. Got a couple of good ones. My first two were, great. Of course, they needed to be to hook me into buying some more, which I didn't really need to. I'm going to buy it regardless, but oh well. Not as much as I wanted to, but I don't know that any of us got as much as we wanted to. Anyway, that's what I've got for Solkanar, black centered Grixis. Hey, there, we finally found the name for it. But black centered Grixis for Solkanar. Yeah, it feels like one of those good stuff decks, if you will, but minus the good stuff. It really does. But we're just gonna run out because I build around the commander, and he is not a particularly complex commander. I mean, he does make you want to lean toward black. But that is what I have got. I hope y'all are enjoying the 100 Days of Magic or 100 Days of EDH or whatever it is we're calling it now. I guess I will see y'all in a little bit, or either I don't exactly know. I think I want to try to record the. I'm recording the decks as I get them done. Obviously, I'm recording this ahead of time before January 3rd, but I want to try to do the 100 Days of Magic on the actual day. Day 3 on day 3, so that I'm keeping active, and might be difficult once we get to February and it's Grand Prix time, because that's a little ways off from the house. Anyway, rambling again. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe. Weird as it sounds, I just a couple days ago was looking at some stats on YouTube, and like 60% of the views come from folks who are not subscribed. So if you like what you see, subscribe, hit the bell, and it'll let you know when I do a video, which for the next like 98 days, that bell will be ringing a lot. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But I think right now, it's time to shuffle and cut.